Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. I know my background is a little bit different today, but I couldn't beautify it, so ignore that because we are going to talk about something very important today which you guys might be searching for. So let's get started because I'll be suggesting you books that I think are perfect for winter season, colder weather, those vibes you want when you curl up in bed and want to read a good book. I've got you. All of these books are perfect for any age groups, which I think is a plus point because young children can also read them and adults, which the level of reading can be a little bit different, which I will talk about, but all of these can be read by anyone. So let's get started. First of all though, let me get the two books that I've talked about multiple times on my channel out of the way. First one is Serpent and Dove by Shelby Mahurin. It is the first book in a trilogy. I meant to read the second book, but I totally forgot the names of the characters and stuff, so I'll have to read this book again. That is why you should not take too much time while finishing a series because chances are you'll forget main things. I do remember a lot of it, so I don't think it will be fun if I read it just now because I think I read it last year, but that's where I am. I can't read book 2. I don't want to read book 1 because I still remember a lot of the things, if not everything. This was irrelevant information in this video, but let me talk about this book. It is a witch and witch hunter fantasy romance. It has a good plot, it has a good romance, and there's a particular scene that is set in colder weather. It is a romantic scene and I absolutely loved it. The language of this book can be a little bit difficult for beginners to understand, but I think advanced readers will take much more out of it. I think it can take you a little bit while to get into, but it was a 5-star read for me, so I really enjoyed it. I will highly recommend this book. Next book that I've talked about multiple times along with this one because there is a little bit of similarity as in the vibes and coziness, but both of these books are totally different. So the next book is Crave by Tracy Wolff. Now this book, it is a fantasy romance as well. There is bad boy good girl trope, there is vampires and different creatures, and it is set in this cold Alaskan wilderness, so it is perfect for this weather, and there's a good plot, good romance. So what more do you need? Although I am on the second book in the series, there are total 6 books, and that book has entirely different storyline than this one. It is so boring, I'm not enjoying it, so I'll highly recommend this one. I'm not through with the second book yet. It has taken me months to go through 5%, and then I just stop, and then I read 5 or 10%, and then I just stop. I'm not invested in that one, so I don't know if I'll recommend the entire series or not. But this book was really good, the plot was good. It was not a 5-star read, but the vibes are so there, so there is literally no reason for you not to read this book. So the next book I'm going to talk about is a book series that you are familiar with. Every time in the summers when I was about to read this book, I just in my head told myself that no, these are perfect for winters, these are perfect for winters, so wait for the perfect weather. So now I'll be finishing what I started, which is the Harry Potter series. This book series is so perfect for winter. They're not entirely set in the winter months, but all of these books have Christmas and winter season, so they are perfect. And also you cannot go wrong with a school of wizards and witches. And yeah, I just don't have any words to express my love over these books. Oh my god, I had the book right there so that I can hold it in my hand and show you the first book only. So look at it because I took it out of my bookshelves. So this is the first book. The language is very easy for even children to understand. What am I talking about? Children have already read these books. I watched the movies, but I'm not through with the books. I am on book 4 right now, and it is a thick chunker of a book. That is probably the book that I am the least interested in, even though I'm 100 pages into it, but it is a, I think, 700-page book, so there is still hope. I watched the movies though, I love them obviously. This is another fantasy series that I'll recommend for colder months. Even if you have read them, this is the perfect season to reread them or watch the movies, because after the season is gone, you are going to think like me that, oh no, I'm going to wait for winters to start this. So this was another book series I recommend for the colder months because these have the vibes. There is Christmas, there is winter, there is friendship, there is witches, there is wizards, there is adventure, and so many things. Let's talk about the next book on this list, which is The Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss. Now this is supposed to be a trilogy, but only 2 books are out and there is literally no set date to a third book. It's been years and years. The second book was published, so we don't know when it's gonna come out or even if it will come out or not. But this is the perfect book for this season. I read it last year during this time, I think, and I absolutely devoured it. It is the story of a magician, Quoth, and his trials, struggles, adventure. But there is a catch, that it is for my advanced readers. Now, if you're a beginner and you get into it, I'm not sure how you will come out of it, because this one is like 660 pages, I think, and the second book is more than 1,000 pages. So if you are ready for it, then only get this book or like start this book, because it is a journey. The writing is not difficult, but the thickness can intimidate you. They don't intimidate me now because I've already read Binding 13. I've read Throne of Glass series, which I'm on the last book. Don't worry, the vlog is coming super soon. Not the last book, but on the second last book, but I'll be done with it this week, so don't worry about that. The video of Kingdom of Ash will be coming very, very soon, so I can cry about it in front of you guys. Anyways, so where was I again? So this book is perfect for winter season. I highly recommend it. All my advanced readers, just gear up and read this book. I am planning to read the first book again because it was just so good, so that I can read the second book obviously, but the first book was so good. I remember most of it, but I just want to get into this series again, like Serpent and Dove. There are like so many fantasy books that I'm in the middle of, but I still want to, you know, start from the first book again. But this was another book recommendation for you. Next series that I'm going to recommend is Wheel of the Time by Robert Jordan. Now I have my books over here, all of the 14 books and all of the thick books that this series has. I'm just so embarrassed because I was so excited to read this series, but it's so intimidating even for me. Like, don't ask me on which book I am right now, but this book is like perfect book for this season. If you're an advanced reader, obviously, because there are 14 books in the series with this much thickness in all of them. The first book is, I think, 700 or 800 page read, and it is not a quick read. It is like Lord of the Rings, but like much longer and difficult. But this book has all the winter vibes you can ask for. It has inns, it has soups, like everything that you want to read about when you are like curled up while having your hot coffee, you know. That is the type of book that this is, or the series that is. But there is this catch, that it is a huge series. If you read it, it's so rewarding, but only start it if you can finish it. Don't think like me and get the entire set and not be able to read it. Get it from me. Like, I've been reading books for so many years and I'm still intimidated by this series, so it's no joke. So this is another series that I highly recommend. I hope you guys are going to pick up at least one book from this entire video. I promise the next book I'm going to talk about is a standalone, which means there is no other book in the series. There is only one, and it is a good book as well. My 5-star read. So I hope you guys are still interested to watch this video, even though I've like scared you with so many thick books. Okay, we're going to talk about a book that is complete in itself. So that book is A Far Wilder Magic by Alison Swift. Now this book is set in the Arctic wilderness. There's more. There's romance. There's a mythical hunt for a fox, like a magical fox. This is such a good book. It has good characters, good character development, good storyline, good plot, perfect winter vibes, and there is mental health representation, which I loved, which I didn't know that I would love in a book, but I didn't know this going into it. Like, the only thing I knew was an intoxicating love story set against a mythical hunt, which is written right here. So This is the only thing that I knew. I was surprised. This book like highly surprised me. It is another 5-star read of mine. So if you are or not looking for a book like this, do pick this book up. The writing, I would say, is not difficult at all. You can read this book. It is so beautifully written. It is just so perfect for the weather, and the characters are good. The representation that I talked about, mental health, is just so wonderful. I have heard that Abby Jimenez writes books with mental health representation, and I've not read any of her books, but I'm just so scared, you know. This book really touched me in that way, and I just don't know if any other book will. And that is the reason I've not read any of Abby Jimenez's books, because I just love the depiction of anxiety and mental health struggles in this book, and I don't know if any writer can do well with it like Alison Saff did. I am still to read other books by her, but I'm just, you know, when you read a good book by an author and it is a standalone, you are just so scared to read any of the other books by her, because you just don't know how you are going to feel about it. If it's a series, like the same series that you read the first book from, you are excited to read the book too. But if it's just a standalone, it's so hard to pick up another book by the author. What if you don't like it? Oh my god. It just scares me even thinking about it. So I just love this book. This cover is so beautiful. I read this along with a book club, which the book club members didn't like this book. They hated it because of the mental health representation. They were not aware, as I was not aware, of what is going to come in this book. There is ample of fantasy elements, there is ample of romance, but people don't expect fantasy books to be so deep, which I didn't know, but I still loved it. So if you want to take a chance, read this book. A lot of people rated it a 3.5, so I think it's not a bad rating, but an average one. But for me, it was a 5-star read, so I will recommend it. If your reading taste matches with mine, then you have got to be sure that this is a perfect book for you for this winter season, because again, there are so many vibes. There's like magical mythical hunt. Is there anything else that I'm supposed to say to convince you guys to read this book? I think I've talked about it so much. Now I'm going to recommend some books for if you are looking for some shorter books you can read in a day or in a sitting. I have the book, but I did not take it out for some reason. I'm sorry. I hope this will do. So it is Murder on Ice by, I don't remember the name of the author or authors, but it is from Nancy Drew File series, and it is a murder mystery. Nancy and her crew are on a vacation and something goes wrong, so they are all there to solve it. There are a lot of books in the Nancy Drew series, but this is set in cold weather and there is snow, obviously, because murder on ice. I think young people will enjoy this book much more than adults, but adults can read it in a sitting and still have a good time reading it, so I highly recommend this book. Okay, so the next book I'm going to recommend is a romance, a short romance novella, whatever you want to call it. It is a series by Ashkeller, which is Men at Engine 17, but there's this particular book that is a standalone, a short like 40-50 page standalone, which is set in the winter months, so I'm recommending it. You can read the entire series. It was a good time series, not my favorite. The book that is set in winter in this entire series is No Place Like Home, which is such a cute book name, and this book is a second chance romance. These books are extremely short, so if you're looking for shorter books to read on Kindle Unlimited, then download the series. I did like it. I didn't love the book series because my rating for all of the books is so different, like a 2-star for one and a 4.5 star for another. I don't remember the rating for this book, but I really enjoyed this book. Even though I'm not a second chance girly, I really enjoyed this one. Okay, so these were all of the books that I highly recommend to you guys. If you are pulled towards any of the books, do give them a chance, because I know you will enjoy them. Alright, I'll see you guys in my next video. Let me know if you have any book video ideas you want me to film. I'm already filming Christmas recommendations, Christmas TBR videos, so I think that is going to be so exciting. I hope you guys are enjoying my videos. Alright, I'll see you guys in my next video. Until then, goodbye. As well, it has the bad girl, sorry, Bad boy good throw.